Hi, I'm JH, and in this video I'll be discussing about the 2022 Austrian Grand Prix, the 11th round of the 2022 F1 season. Please note that everything I said is based on facts and of course my own opinion. So, without further ado, let's start the video. First of all, I just want to say sorry for the late upload. Things have been quite hectic lately and, well, to be honest, for the further Grand Prix review uploads, most likely it will be around 3 to 5 days after the race because now I have work to do, so my time to make videos are quite limited. So yeah, now let's see some of the news that's been going on before the race. The most interesting one in my opinion is that Red Bull reportedly hired a psychologist to help Tsunoda, which to be fair, considering his aggressive comments during the race, is a pretty good idea. Look, Tsunoda definitely have talents, and I'm sure a calmer approach would only do him good. Moving on, Andretti's attempt on entering F1 seems to get tougher as plenty of teams doesn't really support its intention. And finally, there are rumors that Spa will not be in the 2023 F1 calendar, which is a shame because, let's be real, despite the dangerous parts of the circuit that maybe needs some fixing, it's an iconic track. A lot of history has happened on Spa and it's not a boring circuit as well. So yeah, personally I prefer that Spa stays on the calendar. Oh, and spoiler alert, there will be plenty of track limit warnings and penalties in this race. Anyway, let's get into their performances. As a team, they got the most points in the race, with Lewis finishing P3 and Russell P4. Lewis did pretty good, I guess. Despite the quali crash and his horrible sprint luck, he seems to bounce back quite nicely in the race. After Sainz retired, he got bumped up into the podium position as well, without experiencing much of an action on the latter stage of the race. Russell did pretty good too, even paying respect to his idol by bumping into a Red Bull in Austria. Well, he got 5-second penalty for that, and some damage as well. Anyway, he had some decent overtaking actions, and on the race, he ended up finishing 4th. So, all in all, it's a solid result for the Mercedes team. I don't know what to feel if I'm a Ferrari fan. I mean, Charles did win the race and has plenty of battles with Verstappen that he win in the end, but it's too damn close. The gap with Verstappen was diminishing rapidly through no fault of his own, and I think if the race was 1 or 2 laps longer, Charles would not win. But anyway, the result is all that matters, and he got the win. Carlos also did quite well on the race, and at one point almost overtook Max, until his engine was literally burning and had to retire. It's a shame since there was a chance for Ferrari 1 too. Personally, I think it didn't happen because of Ferrari's incompetence. Seriously, if they wanted a chance to win both drivers and constructors, they need to get it together because most of the time their driver performed brilliantly, but random issues keep preventing them from the maximum result. Max got a pole and had a great battle with Leclerc on the race, but some traction issue prevented him from getting the win. In the end, Max ended up finishing P2 with only around 1 second gap to Charles. Moving on, his teammate Perez is one of the drivers that are effective with the track limit drama. His Q3 and Q2 lap time got deleted, and despite having a fantastic sprint result, on the race, Russell's love tap caused some damage to his car, including a hole on his side pod, and after around 25 laps, he decided to retire from the race. Very unlucky for him. Haas have plenty of races where they had a great quali sessions then drop off on the race, but this time, let's just say they look like rockstars, especially Mick, getting into Q3 and had a great race as well. He had some decent overtakes and didn't make any major errors, as well as having a great pace. At one point, I think he even passed Hamilton and managed to hold him back for some time. In the end, he finished P6, which is a great result for the German. Magnussen also did well, finishing P8 on the race despite some engine problem. Overall, a fantastic result for the American team. Ocon had a great race. At one point he even came close to Russell, but in the end he finished 5th behind the Mercedes driver. Alonso also did quite decent considering his sprint luck and starting from the back of the grid. He had a great pace and plenty of overtakes as well. The most important one was to Bottas in the last laps of the race, bumping him up to P10, just within the points. All in all, it's a pretty good result for the French team. Lando, despite having a power unit problem early in the weekend, he had a solid result, had some overtaking actions on the race, and managed to finish P7 despite the 5-second track limit penalty. On the other side, I think Ricciardo did barely okay in the race. After the horrible quali and despite passing Lando early on, he then lost the place and lost plenty of positions to other drivers as well. Thankfully, he still managed to finish P9 in the end, but considering the expectations for him early in the season, it's a bad result. Bottas started from the pit lane due to exceeding power unit limits and a new rear wing assembly. He did quite well in the race, had some overtakes and finished just outside of the points in P11 after Alonso overtook him in the final lap. Zhou on the other hand struggled in quali and started his sprint from the pit lane after his car switched off at the latter part of the formation lap. Considering his circumstances, I think he did quite okay in the race, overtaking plenty of cars and finishing P14. Oh, and he also received 5-second track penalty as well. Albon did great in quali, almost getting into Q3, but on the sprint he got 5-second penalty after the incident with Lando, which resulting in a P16 finish. On the race, he did quite solid, finishing P12 with no major errors. As for Latifi, well, he retired from floor damage in lap 48. Look, I understand that he didn't get the upgrade package that Albon received, but even before Albon received the upgrade, Latifi didn't exactly perform on the same level as Albon. Anyway, he didn't really do anything in this race. Even without the retirement, I'm pretty sure he'll finish last or second last anyway. Stroll did poorly in quali, but overall he had a pretty decent race, having some battles with Mick before losing position and in the end finishing P13. Vettel didn't have the best weekend, from qualifying last because of track limit penalty to retiring early due to damage after the incident with Albon, and on the race he got the 5-second track limit penalty, causing him to drop from P16 to 17. Overall, a bad weekend for the Aston Martins. Gasly had terrible luck in this round, from the qualifying scandal to contact with Hamilton that put him to P18 on the sprint, to 5-second track limit penalty and 5 more second penalty for causing a collision with Vettel. In the end, he finished P15. Yuki also had a bad weekend. At one point, he even got overtaken by Latifi on the sprint. On the race, he did have some racing actions, but well, in the end, he finished second last, and that's just because of the Vettel penalty. All in all, a terrible weekend for the AlphaTauri team. My best driver for this race is Charles, mainly because of how he can manage the throttle problems and still manage to win the race, as well as having a great racing action with Verstappen. Here are the standings after the 11th round. Anyway, yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you like it, please share, like and subscribe. See you in the next video, and yeah, have a nice day.